Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant, and I want to welcome you to another Cape Conversations, the Fuzzy Slipper Edition in my living room. Yes, here I am in my living room talking to you all out there in TV land or whatever land you live in. I am so thrilled to be here today because we're going to talk to one of our town peoples that does a lot of things in the community. He also runs Sandwich News on the internet. So I want to thank you for joining me, and let's have another Cape Conversation. Thanks, everybody, for joining me today. I've got a great guest. You know him. You know him from Sandwich News. You know him for being an MC at everything known to man in Sandwich. You know him for being on lots and lots of committees and belonging to lots and lots of organizations. And he also happens to be the chairman of the Finance Committee. So please welcome to the Fuzzy Slipper edition of Cape Conversations, Mark Snyder. Mark, how are you?
Thanks very much for having me on, Melinda. I'm doing okay. I'm holed in my home here, as you can see, underground, protected from that COVID germ, and I'm going to stay here until I get the clearance from Governor Baker to leave. I'm staying right here in the safety of the bosom of my home.
Excellent. Well, it looks like, from what I can
with
tell,
Harry, with my dog Harry.
It looks like a nice home, so it's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's a good place. We have actually main wood beams. We're one of two homes in Sandwich that has the official main wood beams in our home.
Nice.
So it looks like, actually, I'm looking now in the picture, it looks like the beams are actually going through my head, but they are literally on the ceiling. So I just want to let people know that I do not have beams growing through my head. Well, maybe some people might think I do. I don't know.
Well, we have a post and beam house too, so you can see behind me.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, same beams. Yep. We just painted everything white. So.
Oh. But how come your beam's not going through your head? Actually,
I've worked on it.
Okay. That's a very lovely house, by the way.
Thank you.
Very lovely house you have, and I can see that you have original Joe Gallant paintings in it. So you're talking about really good stuff. You got Joe's paintings in there.
I do.
Do you paint as well, or just Joe?
No,
And so the walls in your house. No. So the walls in your house have Joe's paintings or yours, or a mix?
No, just Joe. Just
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to see some of yours in there too. I think that you deserve some wall space.
I don't paint.
Oh, I thought you did paint.
No, I'm a director. I'm an actress. I kind of think of myself as an improviser. No painting. No.
You are with the performing arts rather than the other arts.
Right.
Yes, I understand.
Right.
I know we actually acted together in a play once.
I know.
That was you actually led me to my death.
I did, and I think we kissed.
So I remember that.
And we kissed.
We did kiss.
Yes.
And we actually surprised everybody in the crowd.
Yes, it did.
Yes.
And maybe one of us died.
But yeah, these are things we look back at. Yeah, that was fun though. I love acting, and I really miss the stage right now, because there is no stage. There's no acting anymore. It's now you can do it on Zoom. But I mean, I sang a song on Facebook one day, and I put it on my page as a joke, and people thought it was great. They were asking me for requests. I was like, people are really starved for entertainment.
This is. So let's talk about finance.
Really?
Let's talk about finance.
Why? Finance is very boring.
It is. However.
You sure you want to talk about it?
Yes, because it's important to our town. Right. It's important to our town. So
yes,
tell me.
It is.
What's going on in finance for the Finance Committee? I know you just had a meeting.
The Finance Committee just had a meeting, and at that meeting we approved the 2021 budget. Now, this is a long process. It's, 4 or 5 months. And during that time, we had in the police chief, the fire chief, the DPW heads, and some of the people from different department heads to get their view on their budgets and find out what they needed and what we could afford. And that also included the schools as well, of course. So we have been talking about this budget for 4 or 5 months. And even though it really didn't seem like we had enough time to go through it because we didn't have a meeting for a long time too, we felt good enough to approve the budget with the changes that Bud had made. Bud is, of course, our town manager, George Denham, and he's a very conservative budget guy, and I like that because he doesn't like to spend money we don't have. So he planned into the budget some cuts to our revenue because we're going to see cuts in our revenue. Obviously, there's going to be less people staying here. There's going to be less money coming into the town. Some people are in more dire straits. They're not going to be able to pay their taxes, and we're already delaying the taxes a month.
Right.
The May stuff that was due is due in June. So he revised the revenues a little bit and went down a little bit. The other positive thing that we found was that the overrun for the former bank property on Route 6A, which is going to be the new dollars under what they thought it was going to cost in the revised edition. Now, keep in mind, the Finance Committee is...
Wait, under or over?
Under 300,000 under the second estimate, not the first estimate.
Oh, okay.
So keep in mind that the Finance Committee and myself personally expressed much concern for the fact that we bought that property and it wasn't properly vetted, and it's going to cost us still $1.8 million more to make it what it was.
Right.
And it may not even have all the things we wanted it to have. So there's still some issues with that with us, but we did approve it because it came in and it's not using any more tax revenue. Now, again, there's a fine line. Well, what's tax revenue? What's not tax revenue? What I'm saying is that the real estate taxes will not go up to pay for that particular cost.
Right.
So is there money that could have been spent on something else being spent on that? Yes. So there may be other things that aren't going to get done that might have got done with that money. So it's a two-edged sword here. But I believe in the consolidation idea that they elicited initially to build that building, why we're doing it. And we've already seen some savings in that one department made a full-time person part-time because they're going to be sharing with the next department over. So when this building gets built and everything is in there, there will be a lot of sharing of jobs, and you'll see some cuts, and it will actually pay off for taxpayers at that point. But we're a long way away from having that building fixed and occupied. So we're still paying for that, and we're paying for all the other buildings, and we're unable to sell the other buildings, which is it's a key part of this whole strategy.
Right.
Selling the town hall annex, Forestdale. These are important. We got to get these things done because that money coming in is going to offset some of the costs that taxpayers would have borne, and they shouldn't. So, we're on this stuff. We have a very conservative group of people who are concerned about taxpayers. Every one of us is a taxpayer. We don't want to pay taxes. I mean, my taxes when I moved here, when I bought my house in 2002, was $4,000 a year. Now it's $9,000 a year. So and they're control. So we need to control them. And the Finance Committee is one of the stops where the buck stops. So we're working on that. We really are. And it's not an easy thing. And by the way, I think we're looking for another member. So if anybody out there is interested, go to the job bank at the town website and apply, and Gary Blank might pick you. And then you can be harassed too for being a Finance Committee member. Yeah. No one's ever happy. You know that. So
No,
if you're a selectman, if you're a finance committee, no one's ever happy.
no.
So it's not like anybody says to me, "Hey, Mark, thanks so much for being chairman of the finance committee. Thanks so much for your service." They really don't. And it's okay, because we do it not for the gratification, but to help. That's why we're there. But
Well,
it's
Mark,
it's interesting. I must be a masochist,
okay.
because I've been on finance committees now for 17 years. I did 12 years, over 12 years, um, in Stoughton, the term limit, whatever that term limit was, I did there. And now I've been here for a while, so it's something that's it's not easy to get used to municipal budgets and understand where they're, because they're different from corporate budgets, which I've also worked on. But I'm not a CPA. When you first look at these things, and they're extensive, they're books. There's actually books of the budget. There's a book for the municipal budget and a book for the school budget. You've got to go through it all, because if you don't, you don't make any sense when you ask questions. So, anyway, go ahead, host.
No, what I was gonna ask you, everybody complains about the taxes in Sandwich, but don't you think that we actually pay for the beauty of the village? That's part of our taxes, is paying for not having a lot of business downtown.
Well, let me just give you the truth to the matter here. The truth is the matter, and the truth is that we have the highest tax rate on Cape Cod.
That is
But
correct.
there's a reason for that. We don't have the highest taxes, by the way. We have the highest tax rate. Our tax bills are not the highest. Okay. So the reason we have the highest tax rate is we have the most people who live here year round.
Right.
We have the most people in our school systems. We have the least amount of $1 million homes on Cape Cod, which is amazing to me. Even Wareham has more $1 million homes than we do. So all these things combined make the costs per resident much higher than all the other Cape houses, Cape places. So that's the reason why our rate is higher, and our bills are fairly high. But as far as I'm concerned, and I think you just expressed it perfectly, we have one of the most beautiful towns there is. We have history, museums, beaches, lakes, ponds, ocean beaches. This town is just beautiful. I love it, and I love the people in it as well. It's a great town. Every town has trolls in it. We have a few here, but most people are really, really nice people, and they'll give you the shirt off their backs. I look at things like the First Church with their Thursday soups, and there's just so many groups out there doing wonderful things for the people. The Sandwich Food Pantry is just incredible. There's so many different organizations and people doing good things for people that overwhelms the money. But it is something that we have to be concerned with. We need to attract young families here. We have a lot of retirees. We need to attract more young families to come here, and we need to attract more business. And we've been trying to do that, and unfortunately, this COVID thing has really put it's a wrench in the works here. But I think that's what we're all trying to do, is bring more business into the town, and try to decrease the cost for residents.
Well, Mark, you don't just sit on the finance committee, you sit on a lot of other committees. So what's the one other thing that you do that you love the most?
I couldn't even, I sit on 8 boards.
Wow.
Corporate boards and nonprofit boards. And I also run a national radio network. So I'm kind of busy, but I love doing what I do. Whether it's the Chamber of Commerce, I was the chairman of the board of the Ponset Valley Chamber of Commerce, which is the 3rd largest chamber in the state. I was the chairman in 1995 and 96. And I went to the Stoughton Chamber of Commerce, and I was the vice chairman there for 8 years. And now I'm with the Chamber of Commerce here, and I'm the secretary of the executive board here. And I love being on chambers, because you get to help the businesses. There's so many businesses, and I'm a marketing guy. That's really what I do. I promote things, and I love promoting whether it's a nonprofit group or the Alliance hosting something and doing an auction or whatever, and just bringing in money for nonprofits. I love doing that stuff. So being part of the chamber lets me know which businesses need promotion, and I can help. And I don't charge anybody anything. I just do it for free because I think that it's important to do that. So I try to help chamber members. I try to help non-chamber members during the situation we're in right now. So if you go on Sandwich News on Facebook, you'll see ads for all different types of restaurants. They're all marketing their stuff on there. That's fine with me to have them go on there and market things. You know, the other night, Mark Petralia from Tomatillos, the Petralia family, did a fundraiser for the Sandwich Food Pantry. He had a Cinco de Mayo thing, and he sold these Cinco de Mayo kits for $50. They had 4 tacos, and they had quesadillas, they had 4 bottles of Corona beer, and mixed for drinks, for margaritas. It was and chips, and it was amazing. It was $50, and for every $50 purchase, 5 went to the food pantry, and that thing raised like $1,300 for the food pantry. It was a wonderful thing. The food pantry is desperately in need of funds right now because there's so many people who need help. So, you know, anything that can be done to help. I mean, people reach out to me all the time for different fundraisers, and I'm willing to help anybody. We did something for David Ward's family on a boat to raise money for them, and we were able to hand her quite a bit of money that night. You know, those kind of things are really rewarding to help people who are in need. And one thing I noticed about Sandwich is that people will rally around those who need help, whether it's someone who just had a loss in their family, or a business that's suffering, or someone who has cancer and they need help. Everybody rallies around, and people in this town are very much like that. They're very helpful. They're good people, and I think that's important to note. You know, it's just as important as the beauty of this town around us with the water and the ocean and the history and everything. Everything is beautiful here, but the people have to be good too, and they really are. You know, whether it's you know, people like Bob Yor, who used to live here. Bob Yor donated so much stuff when he was over at the Beach Club. You have no idea. He donated dinner for six. Dinner for six. He donated, and we got $5,000 for it. He donated a lunch before, and we got $2,500 for it for charity. He did all the time, and people like the Cafe Chew guys, you know, Tobin and Bob, generous to the community. You know, and the Petralias. There's so many people out there that are so generous to the community, and we're very lucky to have that here. You know.
Yep.
And you do so many good things with this show, the conversation show. You know so many people what's going on. It's very important that communications. You know, that's a really important thing. Communications. But you know, whether it's Paula Johnson with the cable trying to educate people and doing things, now doing a PSA for the Board of Health, because there's so many things going on, and I got to give the credit to Bud and to Paula and to the Board of Selectmen. They have kept the people in this town in the loop of what's going on with this COVID situation. People know. They know exactly how many people are suffering from it, how many people have died from it. Everybody knows what's going on in this town because of the newspapers and the social media and the television.
Well, I'll tell you, I was shocked to find out that Woody Mitchell and his wife had the virus. I was totally shocked about that. And when I read their account that their neighbors stepped up and started bringing food and leaving it by the door, but they couldn't find anybody to take their trash because nobody wanted to touch it. You know, it's you just kind of, your heart goes out and you go, oh, if only we had known. But nobody wanted anybody to know that they had it, I guess, at that point, you know. But they are such a good couple and such a good guy. So, you know, I was only not only shocked, but I was, God, if I'd known, we could have done something maybe, you know. It's that kind of thing.
It's interesting you said that, because I mean, he posted something on Sandwich News about it, and I went, whoa. Why didn't you tell anybody? But I understand that at the time, him and his wife didn't want anybody to know about it. And again, you know, that's a good point there, is that we're treating people that have this as pariahs when they're not. I mean, I feel bad. I remember when the first cases came out. Remember, Melinda? Everybody was asking, well, who is it? Who's that? Who's that?
I know.
Well, the thing is, we don't need to know who they are,
Right.
but it's good to know it's a Mason are out there tracking these people and finding out who they were with, what stores they were in, and then notifying people
Right.
that they may have been, near someone who was infected. I think that's really the most important part of it.
I'm going to stop this for a second and we'll come back, okay? I've got a phone call that I didn't expect, so hang on one second. Okay.
I think it's time for another question.
Okay, so Mark, tell me about your involvement though with the Sandwich Arts Alliance. That's a big deal now. It's becoming a big deal.
Well, my involvement with the Alliance is what it is. Joanne Westerhouse brings you to coffee, and that's it. She drags you in. So I was one of the co-founders of it and one of the original board members and the executive board members. And it's a wonderful organization. We have almost 400 members now. It's just crazy. But I mean, there's so many artists in Sandwich, as you know, performing artists like yourself. And there are people who are painters and sculptors and I mean, it's a really fascinating thing how many people are out there that are talented with some kind of artistic format. And so that it was really a natural thing to bring everybody together, and it works so well. Whether it's combining poetry with music or having art and poetry together as one piece. We did that a couple of times. It's really fantastic to bring that out to people, and people love art, and art brings such wonderful spirit to the community. So I think it's something that's really important. And it's interesting that I'm writing a story this week for the Broadsider about Collections Gallery. Are you familiar with that?
Oh, cool.
That's June Kershaw, her place. And the late June Kershaw was a good friend.
Love her.
June was a wonderful woman. I love her. And so her daughter Trina is now running the establishment, but again, it's closed. So they're really having a hard time because they have to pay their rent and they have no income coming in. So we're writing a column about it, get donations to their GoFundMe page, because I think it's really important to keep that place open. There's 9 artists that sell their work in there, and I just think it's the Sandwich Arts Alliance building. That was Representative Hunt for helping to get that money to use for the first year of rent.
Oh, sure.
It was an amazing thing to get that, and now our artists are in that gallery selling stuff, and we were doing very, very well there until we had to close the building down. But I mean, people are out there were out, all the tourists and people who live here were just going in there all the time to look and see the latest things that were up on the wall, and they were buying things. So, and then we have authors, a lot of people who've written books that sell the books in there. We have musicians selling their CDs in there, and it's incredible. I love it. I just it's one of my favorite things. I love the Arts Alliance. I love the idea of it, and I'm so happy we have our own home, which is great. And the chamber has our own home too now, which is great. With a new building there too. So the Chamber Welcome Center is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Have you been inside there?
Oh yeah.
You should do a show from there.
Well, I've done a show with Denise like this. I did a show with Denise like this. So, which is up on.
Yeah, no, I saw that. That was a good show too. I thought you both did a good job on that. Yeah, well, I watched that show with. She was good, and you were.
Yeah, well, she's a yacker. She's like you. She's a yacker.
She's good. But we're very lucky actually to have her because she solidified the chamber, and now we have Tracy, who's ready to take over at some point too. So it's good to have that kind of hierarchy going on, and we have great leadership on the board as well. So Heidi Trottier and Brendan from Marshland have done a great job in terms of leading the board. So.
Yeah. Well, Heidi was Not when I was president of Mashpee, but I actually got her involved in chambers of commerce. You'll have to ask her sometime. She complained about
I
the
will.
chamber of commerce in Mashpee, and I said, well, don't complain, put up or shut up, join us and see if you can make a difference. And she did. It was good.
Did she become chair of that one?
Yep.
Was she a chair of Mashpee too?
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's an experienced chair. I mean, it's interesting because this is my third chamber, and I've been involved in all of them deeply. So they're not much different. Everybody's pretty much the same. It's really up to the leadership to do what they got to do, and so they've done a good job. So
They have.
I'm proud to be part of it. Yeah.
So what else you got going on?
This is
You've had a lot of you said, I read your article last week about social media. I guess you had a bump in the road over that. So, but things are all smoothed out now, I hope.
I was in jail.
Uh-oh.
Yes, I was. It's out there now. Yep, I'm a jailbird. But you know what I did? I posted a quote. And the quote was, I don't have it exactly here, but the quote was that if you take a lie and repeat it often enough, it becomes the truth in the minds of many.
That is true.
And I think it's apropos nowadays. It's from World War II, actually. But I think it's apropos nowadays. But they flagged that because they said it was hate speech. And it's crazy what's going on Facebook and Twitter. And I could talk about that for an hour because I wrote a story.
Right. Well,
Mark, I just think that it is, freedom of speech is really important. That's all.
Totally agree.
But
I also
freedom of speech is important. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that quote is a very good quote, but you can take it from two different standpoints these days, and that's the problem, I think. Seriously. I think.
Well, that wasn't the problem. That's not why they flagged it. Do you know why they flagged it? It wasn't because of that.
Oh.
They flagged it because it came originally from Goebbels.
Oh.
During World War II from Germany.
Right.
That's why they flagged it as hate speech.
Right.
Because of who said it.
Right. Right.
And I didn't quote that person. I didn't say who wasn't said it. I just put the quote out there because I think it's an important quote. So
are you out?
I understand where I came from, but it's. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I said, are you out of jail?
Oh yes, I am. I am. I even had a clemency pot. The governor actually called them up and asked me to be released. Governor Baker is a big fan of the stuff I write.
Oh.
So some of it, obviously, not all. No one agrees with everybody 100% on it.
No.
But it's interesting, that there are two sides to everything. And it was brought up to me when I was thrown in Facebook jail that, Mark, you do the same thing on Sandwich News. And I'm like, what do you mean? Well, you've blocked me on Sandwich News. You shut me up on Sandwich News. Well, I don't block anybody for their thoughts, their politics, anything like that at all. We have just some main rules on that page. No profanity, no slander, and no arguing with people. That's it. So if you do one of those things, and I usually give a warning, if you do it again, you're gone. That's it. So, I don't think that's censorship, because for me, it was just like, boom, you're gone. And there's no argument. No, I have reinstated many people that I threw out because they said, oh, please give me another chance. And they're still there because they followed the rules. So, right. But Twitter is another example of what's going on there. I had 150,000 followers on Twitter, and it was growing rapidly. It was amazing. And then I came to my computer one morning, and I had 75,000 followers with no explanation. So then I read in the New York Times that that Twitter had eliminated fake accounts. So like President Trump's account had 100,000 less, and President Obama's had less. But here's the thing that amazed me though. So if that's the case, if it's really fake accounts, so when you cut my followers in half, then I would think the people I was following, who are the same people, would also be cut in half. But that number was the same. So it indicated to me that that wasn't exactly what was going on. But we never know. You know, we are powerless. When social media has got so much power now. I mean, they could tell us right now. They could say, Melinda Gallant, we don't like your show, so we're not going to let you use Zoom anymore. They can do that, you know, and they have done that to people. YouTube has done that to a number of people who have done nothing wrong except have the wrong point of view when it comes to different things. It's very interesting, and for those who are on the right point of view and don't think it's a big deal, you know, things change, and sometimes you'll end up, you know, censored at some point. So
Right.
it's really important that we keep you know, vigilant about this kind of stuff. That's
Right. Well, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist, so I think the coronavirus is real. I think it's out there. I think it's a real disease. So I just
well, it is.
something.
I don't think there's anybody.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
just read something this morning that it's the scientists that are creating all this because they want to take over the world. I read it. It was on Facebook, and the guy is crazy, I've decided.
Well, there's no doubt. I don't want to even argue about where the origins are because I don't think we all know. But I do know that it's real, that people are dying from it because I know people who have passed away from it.
Yes.
I have friends who lost their parents. I have friends who lost their grandparents. I have lost friends. So it is obviously real. And we have to be vigilant about how we protect ourselves and the ones we love. My mother and her boyfriend are in their late 80s. I'm there all the time. I make sure I deliver stuff to them on their steps. I make sure they stay in the house and they don't go near people, and they have masks and sanitizer and everything else because it is real.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that people survive and do well, and especially those I love. So I think that, you know, I've talked to Governor Baker about this before too, and we have to open up our businesses, but, and there's a big but, it's got to be done in phases, carefully, so that we don't revive this thing and have it backfire on us. We have to close them again. So I think that, you know, when I see people with machine guns protesting, I think that you know, I understand where people's frustration is, and I have many friends, and some of them have already lost their businesses, and some could lose their houses. It's a horrible thing that's going on. I also know people who are unemployed and making more money now than they were when they were working. I'm not sure that's right either. But I do think that we have to, if we're going to open up, and we do have to open up eventually. Obviously, we can't stay closed forever, but we have to do it in a careful manner. And I trust Governor Baker. I think he's doing a great job. And a lot of people don't like him, but I like the guy as a person,
I'm a
friends.
Democrat.
But
Hey,
I also think that he's doing as best he can.
Mark, I'm a Democrat. I voted for Baker. And I'm a liberal Democrat because I knew he would do a good job. And I knew he would do a good job in a situation like this, believe it or not. He has a steadiness about him. He doesn't fly off the handle. He's not the world's greatest speaker, whatever. And I am going to have to wrap this up on that big announcement that I voted for Baker, because we have talked way over my
You're
time.
wrapping it up?
Yes.
Wait a second. I thought we had a 2-hour special.
No, unfortunately we don't. But I'll have you back again, and we
Oh.
can just chit chat forever, and hopefully our connection will be better.
All right. You take care. Stay
All
safe.
right. You take care too. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mark Snyder, what a wealth of information he has on all the town finances. And he's the chairman, so he ought to, right? Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today, and we had a great discussion, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversation.